morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I'm the badass Buddha, Lori Monaco. We are so sorry. Here we go again with Facebook. Okay, hold on. Let me fix Facebook, and let's get us back on the Facebook. So, YouTubers, we appreciate you hanging on, and we will get this started in a moment. Happy Thursday. Nothing like starting late and then having technical issues starting late, and then having more technical issues once we start. So let's see. Are we live? Yes, we are. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. We had so many technical issues this morning, and then once we even got live, we still had technical issues on Facebook. So thank you so much for being patient and being here with us today. I'm the badass Buddha, Lori Monaco. Happy Thursday. It is chilly. It is fall. It is wonderful. And we are happy to be here. Good morning, Milagros. Milagros said, hell with Facebook. I'm logging in to YouTube because I can't find you. We are now on Facebook too, Milagros. We were having all kinds of login issues this morning. So welcome.
Welcome, mi gente, and thank you for being patient. And hola, Milagros. I think Desiree is on as well. I can't see you. I'm on my phone. Well, from the Gladiator Guru, it is a beautiful, crisp morning. These are like my favorites because you can layer up. That's why I love the fall weather into winter. It's I think it just keeps everything alive. Like, whoo, you're always singing to yourself. You're always shuffling your feet. There's movement. So, bienvenidos a Viva Café con Leche.
And we really appreciate you guys, or you fabulous ladies, the fabulous tribe, working with us on Tuesday when I had to leave early. And Gladiator Guru was having so much trouble with her technology that she couldn't stay on longer. But we are here for you today. We're not going to keep you too long over our time, but we are here for you today. And so let's get started. We'll do our mantra. We'll set our intention, and then we will get on to I Know Part 2. So always, Viva Cafe con Leche, we want you to be intentional with your day. We want you to have a purpose. So set it. Set many things, but whatever it is, go with a purpose and have an open mind and
do it in gratitude. No matter how difficult it may seem, when you're thinking about it, it could be tangled like a ball of yarn. How difficult or intense it may be to just jumpstart it, how blah it could be while you're in it. Do it in gratitude, and it'll be a smooth ride. Not that it won't be bumpy, but it will be smooth. But if you do it in gratitude, it changes the whole dynamic of what you're attempting to do.
You could see I did not even bother with my hair. I look like a sumo wrestler. Sumo wrestler with pearls and a pretty shawl. Okay. All right. Mantra. Here we go. Say it loud. Say it proud. I am a disruptor.
I am a disruptor.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am magically orgasmic.
Ole.
And I keep it real.
All day, no doubt.
And, I was thinking about this mantra as I'm saying it, and that is part of my know, so we're talking about, I know. What do you know about you? What do you absolutely know about yourself? Good and bad still, because, there's still things we're working on. We're working process. But it's the I know. It's saying, I know, and Facebook, trouble seeing you on Facebook. That's interesting because I'm on Facebook and it's showing. So I'm not sure what's going on with Facebook. Okay. Anyway, but thanks, Desiree, for letting us know. So it's about knowing self, and then checking in. This is the reboot. This is to make sure that you are going steadfast in your direction. And if there's something that you had placed in that purpose, created that intention back in the early part of the year to say, this is who I am, this is who I want to be. And you're you're reviewing it now. Now it's time to say, am I that person? And this has been for me, this has been a very interesting year because I have a transition coming in, and it was interesting to watch me, like myself, because because I often put myself into a mindfulness place where I'm aware, but sometimes, you know, I slip. But the thing is to, when I do watch myself and I become aware, things I say, things I do, good and bad, it's very interesting because my environment, the people I'm around, those are the excuses, but in the end, it's still me. And I don't like the person I am by staying in these realms. And I'm excited to work on myself. That's the no. The no is I'm very interested to meet the Lori that's going to be living in Tennessee. I'm very interested in seeing how Lori transforms even more, and to see if I was just using the environment and people as the excuse. And if I don't change, then it's on me, and I have other work to do. So so this is what I know. I know that I am truly unapologetically courageous. That's one thing I definitely know. There are things that I've choices that I've made this year, and I stand behind my choices, you know, like all of them. And I own it. I'm accountable to it, you know, and I've made corrections as a result of them. But I'm unapologetically courageous in the sense of saying, you know, I'm still navigating. I don't always, you know, sometimes I still put my foot in my mouth, and sometimes not at all. Sometimes it looks that way, but it needs to be said, or it needs to be done. And I'm unapologetic about that. That is so new for me because that was not years ago. That was not me. And I love that part of me. So that's the I know. In that I am a disruptor. I think so. I would prefer to be a disruptor on a positive note, but I'm a disruptor. I'm unapologetically courageous, yes. And I really have the tribe, the show, and especially my bestie over there, Gladiator Guru, really to thank for that. Because I was thinking about you yesterday. I was packing and moving stuff and loading, and I was thinking about you. Might have been when I was cutting the grass. I don't know.
As long
And
as it wasn't when you were wiping your ass.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Anyway, but that's so we'll get going there. So good morning to
No, go
Zareta
ahead. I want
Perez.
to go. You're on a roll. You're describing the whole. I know. I love it. Keep
No,
going.
and I think I'm done because we need to get you in there and we need to get everybody else in there. But it's just part of it. That's the start of the conversation.
I think
I know when to stop. I know when to
you
stop.
said I don't like the person I am in this environment. I thought that was very powerful. I thought that was very brave. I definitely unapologetically courageous towards yourself before you can be it to the world. But that one line that you just said, I don't like the person I am in this environment. And I look for, and I took it as you were saying, the unsaid words were, and I look forward to meeting the one I'm going to be in love with when I moved to Tennessee. That's what I got out of it. See, perception is very high.
Well, and I am. I am. I
And
did
because
say
that was very brave, that was very powerful. So then when you followed it up with the disruptor and the unapologetically courageousness that you know, and the why you are claiming that, I think that is very positive. That is the positive self-talk we need to have with ourselves. Because in the mantra, you know, walking your truth is saying, oh my God, I have been an awful person in these scenarios in my life. And they were made up excuses by myself. So I have been an awful person towards myself first before I was it to anybody else.
yes.
Because remember, when you're reading the mantra and it's like, I am a disruptor. See, I never look at that when I'm saying it as a negative connotation or that disruptor in itself is negative. Just like I say, my love language is confrontation, because I love to confront the issue and clear the air. What I've learned as I'm leveling up in age is that I don't have to defend in that moment. If someone says something that I find very unappealing or just like, then you know what I find myself doing this last year, ever since I came out of self-isolation? I just smile and walk away, because that's my best defense, right? But to be a disruptor, meaning you are walking in there as that gladiator, badass warrior, and saying, fuck this shit. And you're disrupting your comfort zone. Okay, I figured I'm gonna stay here until I'm gonna do this until So what happens when you don't disrupt that until you stay longer and you stay longer, and we've all been there, right? And then unapologetically courageous, that doesn't need a self-explanation, because when you just start something, you're breaking the chains of any stagnation. So when you're spiritually grounded, it's not I believe, I think, I want. No, when you're spiritually grounded, what your next step is going to be and where to. So the last one is, and I keep it real. That's you saying, I don't like the person I am in this scenario. This season one of my life is just, I'm changing the whole script. When you do that, then that is very powerful in the knowing who you are, because it doesn't matter who you know outside of you. You don't know what facades they're putting up. It's who are you? Let's start with this person, because at the end of the day, you're all that really matters. You're all that matters. Kids, grandkids, whatever. At the end of the day, it's you. When you take that last breath, are you going to be happy? Are you going to be proud? Are you going to say, I've lived a life well lived because I lived it according to me? And that's what when we take our last breath, no one's taking it with us. We are. So that's how you have to live. And if you know that you're doing the best thing possible for you, then you're doing it for those you love. And we cheat ourselves, but I can't do that because of this. I can't do that because of her, because of him, because of this. And then what? Everybody moves on.
Yeah. Right.
So when you have the I know of who I am, what I like, what I don't like, how terrible I am, I'm the biggest fuck up when this in this scenario. When I move over to this chapter, I can be very loving and caring. That's why I tell people, believe what you hear about me, because I act accordingly. So
you know what? Say that statement again.
Believe what you hear about me, because I act accordingly.
Yes. Which means basically I am who I am, and it is dependent upon the situation. I'm always steadfast who I am. Like, in other words, I'm a kind person, but I also, I have that bite. It's just, that's why the badass Buddha, it's like, it's the kindness, and it's the 50% namaste, 50% go up yourself. And it's basically saying that, that I am not going to take, like, I'm not going to create a facade, or I'm not going to stay shut if there's if there's something that I don't agree with. I mean, sometimes you can. I mean, I get
something
it. Sometimes
that deserves your attention.
Yes. And so I love that statement, because it's true. It's like, I'm not going to bend according to you because you need me to do that, because everybody else does that. I will stay quiet and keep to myself. But if you poke me, I'm not going to back down anymore, because I used to. And I love that part of myself. The reality is that people don't want you to be that way. And that's where you have to understand your no. You have to say, you know what, I am 100% fine with who I am, even if I am the work in progress.
Exactly.
I'm 100% fine with who I am. If somebody does not like who you are, there's always that good, always that part of you to take that step back, discernment, mindful judgment. Was I a little too much? Was I coming from a bad place? Was I in a bad headspace and I said something? But then you step back and you say, no, you know what? I actually am very clear on what it is, and I take accountability for it. And I'm standing firm for who I am and what I believe and what I'm showing, and blah, blah, blah. And then, because we know this, we've talked about this, as you've grown, and many have shared this, I know Elitza shared this. I know, uh, oh my gosh, I can't think. There's been plenty of you that have shared this. Those of you that have grown and changed, you know that there's a lot of people around you that were not happy about that because they liked you the way you were. They liked you being the people pleaser. They liked you not saying anything. They liked you agreeing with them. They liked to be able to tell you what you should do or blah, blah, blah. And then when you finally said no mas, they were taking back, and then they had to bully you to get you or tell other people stuff so that they could help bully you. And when you and that knocks you, but then when you finally say, you know what, I don't even care anymore, say what you want, I'm still going to do what I want to do.
Well, remember that the balance of life is death. The balance of good is bad, happy, sad, joy, sorrow. I mean, grief, laughter. It goes up and up and up. So if you've been a people pleaser, Captain Save a Hole, an attention seeking whore, whatever the label that fits you, and then you decide one morning and you do say, no mas, I'm choosing me, it's going to send a ripple effect of what the hell. People are not going to like that. So when you finally decide against all odds, and although you are not where you want to be mentally, emotionally, physically, but you have to choose you in order to reach those destinations, or at least reach those plateaus in this chapter in your life, the tide is going to go against you. People are not going to like you. They're not going to like your bravery in choosing you. Now, we can all say, oh, they don't like me now because I am not easily manipulated by them. But let's flip that bitch right now. Half the time we're thinking people are envious of us, or they can't control us, their manipulation isn't working, when in reality it's their own low self-esteem that is looking at us like, how dare she stand up for herself, because they can't. So again, discernment comes into play. Choose wisely in your judgment, or don't judge at all because you're too busy gluing your pieces back together. So it really shouldn't bother you what's happening. Acknowledge it, be aware of it. But the work is now beginning, and it's always hard to build back up from scratch. And that's what we do most of the time with ourselves. And when we don't fit that disruptor into our vocabulary, we crumble quickly. And being a disruptor, saying we're working rain, snow, sleet, we're going to work, we're going to build. And so we let it go because this happened, and we extend because that happened, or because this person needs us and all that. And then when you go to look, your contract is up. Now you got to go do a whole other permit because a year went by. And you stop working on
That's
yourself.
a good way to look at it.
So a lot of the times people don't want to see you changing because they didn't have a plan to change, because their comfort zone was being who they were, because they accepted that and I'm going to say it, they've accepted their less than status because they had no ambition. They had no gumption to roll up their sleeves and get to work on themselves. So if you have friends that are on the same boat with you, then it's okay. We're going to float for a while until we decide. But then you decided and you failed to inform, that's how they're looking at it. And now you think you're better than us because you moved on. So there's going to be a lot. But when you choose you give up the ways of the world, which is the naysayers, the bullies, the abusers, the what's that word I want to use? The pavers didn't show up that day. The cement people didn't put the floor in. So then they start falling off. And then you're left grappling for things because, oh my God, I have to do this alone now. It's scary. It's scary as hell. Especially if you're a mom, like the badass. She's going to start all new in another state. She got 2 little babies she still is looking after, even though
My
the other
20-year-old
one's
baby.
a 19-year-old, still a baby because they haven't navigated really out into the world by themselves. So that's still a working process. So, but she's saying Against All Odds, that's one of my favorite movies with Robert and Barbara Streisand.
No, Against All Odds was that was Jeff Bridges.
And who?
I can't remember the woman, but it was Jeff Bridges. And then no, you're talking about Barbara Streisand, and you talked
That's
about
The Way We Were. I love the old movies.
Oh,
Yeah,
The Way We Were with Robert Redford.
Yes, yeah. But
God,
no,
that
it was a
man is
movie from
gorgeous.
Against All
Then
Odds.
and
But
now.
that's a love song. But you gotta love yourself. It with such a strength. And as we said in last week's I Am, you have to love yourself with such courage. And you got to build those boundaries with those invisible electricity gates. So when anyone trying to come in and hinder your growth, boom, there's that the hell away from you. And that's where your boundaries come in. And that's where you set boundaries even upon yourself to say, I chose to do this now. I chose it. I rolled up my sleeves to it. So I better not give up on myself. And that's just as fuerte as someone trying to get you out of that mindset of change. Somebody trying to pull you back into the bucket with the crabs. If anything, your negative thinking is more powerful than what anybody else can do. So when you said, I don't like the person I am, if everybody would write that on a blank piece of paper at the top right now, and start with that, you can easily do bullets or 1, 2, 3, or 3 rows or 2 rows and fold the paper in half and start. What don't I like about myself? And be so brutally honest that you're even cringing at the shit you're writing. And then pick 1 to 3, 1 or 3 things to work on, either every day or 1 or 3 of those things a week, until you start learning and knowing who you are and what you're made of. Because I think we all have a core of steel. Somos acero, and you can't bend it or break it. We just forgot about it.
That's actually an exercise that I do with my clients. I actually have them take a piece of paper, like a piece of paper like long, and then fold it. And then on the front, like one column, they put what I like about myself. And on the other column, they put what I love about myself. And then they flip the paper over. And then on one side, they write what I don't like about myself and what I hate about myself. And then they hang the paper up on the like side so that the like and dislike, the dislike and hate is on the back. So it's like you hang it up on the wall, and the like and the love is on the outside. But you have to start somewhere. So it's about being honest with self and saying, I really don't like this about myself. And oh my God, I really hate this about myself. And a lot of times those columns can be much longer than the like and the love. And it freaks people out, but that's where you have to start. Because if you're a people pleaser, you have low self-esteem. There's no question. There are plenty of things that you don't like about yourself, and that's why you're looking outside for it. But to come to terms with it, it's harsh at first. It's like that slap in the face, but it wakes you. And then you say, you might look at it and go, well, how can I switch the don't like or hate to the like and love side? You can. And all it is that you have to be aware of what needs to be worked on. So you're looking at that going, well, I really don't like that about myself. And I hate that about myself. One thing that I know for sure that I have become 100% aware of about myself in the last year, especially, I am, because of what I have gone through with my both marriages, honesty has been a real big, like, truth has been a real big important player in my life. Like it gets me to the point of angry when people lie. Now everybody lies. I lie. What I'm talking about are the bigger lies, but I know that that's one thing about me, is that I would much rather you say something harsh to me and be truthful than lie. or pretend you're something that you're not. But I've learned to let go. If you're pretending you're something you're not, that's not my problem anymore. But I had to work through this. And this is what I know about myself. This is what I learned. In the beginning, it was really important for me to tell people what other people were doing if they were lying. I had to inform people, this person's not being truthful. This person's full of crap. This person is putting on a facade, because I was so angry about that. I was angry that people were lying. And then in that process, it also takes away from my growth, because I have to ask myself, why am I so angry that these people are lying? What is it that I need to prove? Why is it important for me to show other people that people are liars? And then I thought to myself, and this just came about probably in the last 2 months. Actually, let me see, what is this, October? Probably since around May. I finally threw my hands up and said, you know what? If people will show who they are, and it's not my responsibility to point out to other people who's not truthful. I need to stop doing that and work on myself, because I obviously still have more work to do on me, and to stay shut about things and to step back, use discernment, observe more, and let things just happen. And so that's become the no for me, is to trust in the process more, let things unfold. And the interesting thing is that's happened. That's happened because I haven't said much. And the truth has been coming out. So that's what I know about me. I know that I wanted to force situations for what, to make myself look a little better, or to try to bring out truth. But you know what, there's always going to be people that are liars. There's always going to be people that have facades, but that's their journey. I've got to stop owning it. So that's what I know. And I just have to be me. If I am going to speak my truth, live my truth, walk my truth, then I have to stay on steadfast on myself and know what my truth is. I have to know when I'm lying to myself, and I have to deal with what I'm lying to myself and the why behind it. That's what I know. And so that's why the movement of the environment, changing the environment, I'm looking at it as an opportunity to really test it, to really say, okay, this is what you're saying. I'm talking to myself. This is what you're saying your truth is. This is what you're saying you've been lying to yourself about. Now is the time to walk into it. Step in to that person that you said you want to be, that you were meant to be, and become that person. And what is that going to look like? What is that going to feel like? What is that going to mean? How different are you going to be in your new environment? Because you have a new start. Because we could always bring our old shit to our environment. And that's the other no that I know. I have to be very diligent, very aware, and acknowledge when the old shit has come back into my new environment, and then stop it and say, what do I need to do about this? So these next 3 months, like 2 months, the rest of the year for me is going to be a lot of questioning. How do I feel? What's different about the move? What am I letting go of? Because there's so much stuff that I know I have not let go of. I have held on, and it's not serving me at all. And I need to let it go. So this is the test for me.
It is. I think we all go through tests daily, just like we receive miracles daily and we don't pay attention. I think number one is being aware of who the fuck you are. And then you brought something up. So when you said that you hate liars and you were always telling people, don't trust this is a liar. So it's like, in your quest as the parking attendant, your liars go on the 5th floor, semi-liars on the 3rd floor. From your perspective, when we are truth seekers, we're seeking the truths of our path. And I think that word gets warped when people want to be monitors of truth, that we become so fixated on who is and isn't telling the truth, that we begin lying to ourselves.
Yes.
And
Which
I
is
don't know if that's
exactly
what you
what I'm
receive.
thank
So
you for saying that.
when you said that you were truth seeking and you were um being a monitor of telling people this I'm not offending you. I'm just breaking up your story. So when we do that, when we're so fixated on who's lying and who's telling the truth and who's a total fake, where are we in this? So the
Yes.
questions we got to ask ourselves, have we been just as truthful with self? Because those people we're claiming to be liars, they're lying, and you can tell who's lying and who's not. But the curtain that they're standing behind, imagine their world. So in order to feel a little bit better throughout their day, they'll make up lies to pump themselves up, and then they just come crashing. It's like an upper and a downer. They're a junkie, right? They're lying about and boasting and lying about other people to make them feel good, but then they got to go home at night. So we don't even know the hell they walked through there. But when you truth seek, and I write this a lot, I wrote it, it's written in many of my blogs, it's in my book, how I am the seeker of truth. I'm a truth seeker, but it's always about me.
Yeah.
Why? Because I have full personalities that were created during a very, very traumatic time in my life as a very young age. And I was talking about my traumas the other day, and the only trauma that really still, was with my mom when she had the episode, and I was alone there handling her. But because the other stuff doesn't have effects on me. Now, some of us believe that we have to check people because I was that person as well. I will call you out in a heartbeat. It don't matter where you were. You could have been standing next to the Pope or helping the janitor pick up trash. I
Excuse
was
me,
just,
Pope. I just gotta call this person out.
and I was just that person. And when I look back sometimes, I've always been unapologetically courageous. I've always been brave. But there was a time and place for everything. And I had no filter. I had no filter, and I don't give a shit. If you did something, if you try to be a little snarly, if you try to throw a little disrespect bomb there, I wasn't gonna wait to talk to you later. No, you get it where you give it. And right now, I'm at the place where think what you want, say what you want under your breath, and until you're brave enough to say it to me, because sometimes the reason confrontation is my love language, because people get angry from what they heard from someone else, from what they might have half-assed saw, you know and they start doing this. That's why I've always knocked on someone's door whenever I heard anything. Listen, I heard you said that this, where's this coming from? And then we will clear the air. To me, confrontation is about clarity. So are you going to be angry with somebody because so-and-so told you that they overheard her talking to so-and-so about you and this was said? Who gives a shit? By the time you got to the second person, the whole story was twisted. So I go directly to the source, and I don't phone and I don't text. I knock. And that always has been good for me. I'm at the point and at the level in my life that I don't give a fuck who's saying what about me, who thinks this about that, or who thinks I'm stupid for doing this, who thinks I'm brilliant for doing that. Because at the end of the day, I lay my head down. At the end of the day, I have my conversations with Yahweh. At the end of the day, I do what's best to not offend and not hurt, but I'm still going to check your ass if you're out of pocket. That's what I'd have given. But when we are judging people for their lack of, in our eyes, what's our lack of? See, for many years, I hated. Like I would stop speaking to you if you cried for every fucking little thing in my presence. Because I associated you crying with weak and patheticism. And I just would walk away. I wouldn't hand you a tissue. I wouldn't pat your shoulder. I wouldn't comfort you in my arms. I'm like, what the fuck are you crying for now? And I would walk away. That was the margin. Why? Because since the age of 6 until the age of 52, I did not cry. So was that part of that? Was that envy? That they can cry so easily? Or because it couldn't be just such a strong distaste. How can I despise something I was unable to do? And I didn't learn that until after my mother died at 52. Now, I don't want you crying all the damn time in my presence either, because there is the thin line between being strong and being weak. But
she has contingencies, in other words.
yes, you know,
There's
but
criteria.
I'm not. It's and that's why I say, when we want to become parking attendants of liars and truth tellers, where are we in all of this? We're minimum wage with the bright neon jacket on, directing, but who is observing us? Where are we? How are we inquiring within if we're too busy pointing fingers at everybody else?
And that's the I know piece. I know that by that behavior that I was exhibiting, it was a distraction. Remember, we talked about this earlier in the year too, is that what are you doing in your life to distract you from the things that you really need to do for yourself? So for me, my obsession with truth and because I was so angry that I was fooled for so many years, I was also angry that I wasn't living my truth, so there's a whole bunch of anger there. And then feeling the need to let other people know that this person's not truth, or this person's this way, and don't trust this person, that I distracted from the thing that I needed to do the most, which was to work on me. And because here's the other piece, is that people will hear what they want to hear. People will believe what they want to believe, and people will behave the way they want to behave. And that's their journey. To force a hand, it's not worth it. And the thing is that when you just stand steadfast and saying, okay, well, this is who I am, this is what I know, and I'm not even going to say it anymore because it's not worth it, your energy shifts. And then the very thing that you were trying to do ends up happening naturally, because people will get you, and then they'll start to see the differences in other people. And again, it's not for me to say that person's journey, who am I to say that person has the wrong journey, that they shouldn't be doing that? That's another thing that I learned about myself. And I know I don't have the right to say it, period. And if other people are affected by other people, I don't have the right to jump in. I mean, we can make observations and we can say things to people. I mean, you can't just willy-nilly and just be like, forget it, I'm going to ignore that completely. Sometimes you have to step in, but you let it happen one time or whatever. And if the other person that you're choosing to share information with, if they take it in and they do something with it, great. If they put their hands up and say, I don't want to hear it, then you accept it. And I think that's the other thing that I know is certain things in my life I've been able to accept, and other things I just have not been able to accept because I haven't let go. So even conversations just in the last few days, my sister and I have had, it's blatantly clear to me that there's so many things still, and they're childhood things, they're old with their relationship things, how I feel about my mom or even my dad, or good and bad, and how it's affected me as an adult. And I'm not using that as the excuse to say, oh, it's all their fault. What I'm saying is I let it stay. Why did I let that stay? Like, why is that so important for me when it really isn't important for me? So I'm so excited about the letting go part, because it has been so hard to walk my journey. Pulling all this extra weight is letting that piece go and starting over. So this is what I know. I know there's things still there. I know that I've done a great job over the years. I know I like myself. I know I love myself. I love the person I've become. I know there's still more work to do. And I know that this move is going to allow me to really express myself, and for my children to express themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm excited about that piece too, because to me, it's like we're all connected energetically. And if one is boosting, the others are boosting as well.
I'm sorry, I was reading some of the comments. Madeline wrote something down about we'll be the villain or the victim in someone's story. But you know what? Before we worry about, and you're absolutely right.
Yes.
Like I said, believe what they say, believe what you feel, because I act accordingly. I'm not perfect by no means. I can get pissed off in a heartbeat and want to rip your throat out. So it's not that I am the Buddha. Hamana. No. But a lot of things what you were saying is true. Now, your environment, I'm blaming people who says I'm still not healing over trauma, because you're not healing because you're holding on.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, sometimes we stay.
That's the ugly truth.
In a relationship, or we stay allowing the people around us to manipulate us. It's not because like we're weak that we can't tell them anything. It's because, and this is a reality, because me, when we allow people to manipulate us and kick down our little gate of boundaries that wasn't big to begin with, because they can get through, right? Is because they make you feel important every time they ask you to do something, every time they require your being to be there, meaning whatever you have planned isn't important because I need you. And we'll bitch and we'll complain, but we go because there's a part of us that feels important, because we feel wanted and needed, even though we know that's not the case, but because we haven't built that gate, that illuminating, translucent gate that protects us from ourselves. Because I'll say this and I'll say this again, nobody can do anything to you that you have not allowed, whether in your darkest moment or in your brightest day.
Yes.
So Desiree, I read your comment. I'm sorry, I have to go back and forth on my
let me put Desiree's comment up here.
But because when we still are holding on to woundedness in our past, I'm telling you from experience, it's because there's some comfort in there.
Yes.
Because that wound has healed. And you might feel it burning or maybe itching sometimes. It's because you're going back and you're yanking off the scab. And you're bringing it forth, and you're making it so, because it's like a lifeline. And remember, I spoke that when my mom got sick, I was adamant that I wasn't going to come to Connecticut to take care of her. Why? Because of the resentment I formed into my brain as a child. And when I became a woman, I never revisited that resentment to say, does it still hold any weight? Because I'm a mom now. I see how kids can be aggravating. I never revisited that resentment formed in a child's mentality. And I carried it, and thank God, only up until 6 months before she passed away, when I fell in love with her. But you still carry it. And I asked myself, why did I hold on to this? Why did I hold on to something from the woman who gave me life? We say they're supposed to protect us and they're this and that. And then you learn, well, they went through something. They didn't have the resources we have today. So why are we still stuck like Chuck when we have the abundance of research and the abundance of organizations that assist you in every possible dilemma of your life? Okay? You have the Bible. You have conversations with Yahweh. You just have to have faith over fear and know. Lean not on your own understanding, but on his. The list goes on and on and on. And then I hear people say, I don't know how. And then you give them advice. Let me tell you something, what I've uncovered recently with my son, with my granddaughter, with my cousin Edie, with just about anyone that I've come in contact with. And I just like, that's what I do. Because I can't be, I'm building a filter. And I don't want to say I told you so or what the fuck, my favorite word, right? So I have recently, I'm a self-learned woman. I love to read. I love to research. I love to fantasize. I think imagination has been swept under the rug lately. I still carry it. And when I speak. And I feel like it goes like this to people. And then I feel spent. Like I could have taken that energy and created some earrings,
Oh my God,
5
that's
chapters
so
in my
true.
book. I could have done something with it, right? But then again, it's that Captain Hope syndrome of me wanting to help you understand, help you pave your road, because I've
Listen,
been there.
wait, hold on. It's not Captain Save-A-Ho. You're not being Captain. What it is you have insight, you have knowledge, you have wisdom, and you want to share it with them. It's not Captain Sabo. It's just like, listen, I know because I've learned this, and I'm
Yes.
going to be generous and share it. And then when you get like the deer in the headlights, you hear crickets after you finished speaking, and you feel spent because you're like, why did I just waste all that energy with her?
But that's what I'm saying. That's where the Captain Save-A-Ho syndrome comes in, because then you realize they didn't absorb the knowledge you're sharing. Even if it was to question me back, well, why are you saying this? I don't think so. In my experience, and that that starts a whole collective of knowing. So when I feel like that is because when they come back to me, listen, this is the kicker. They come back to me, and Iris is sitting right here with me, and I'm speaking so she can hear. And I'll say, but didn't I just have this conversation with you last week? Didn't I break this down for you? I know, right? I said, so I took another person, a stranger, to tell you the same exact thing I did for you to believe it or understand it or adapt to it. And in that moment is when that Captain Save-A-Ho syndrome comes up, because once I share information with you, it is no longer an attachment to you. So whatever you do with it should be whatever you do with it. But when I noticed that I was getting like, I just explained that to you in more detail, and you rolled your eyes or you laughed or like, oh, here's a conspiracy theorist or whatever it is you want to call me. And then you want to come back to me because so-and-so's mother's ex-husband's sister-in-law told you the same shit, and now it's Bible. And then, so that's where, that's where that Captain Save-A-Ho syndrome comes in, because once I give it to you, once I share with you what I know, it's a knowing. So I shouldn't have to feel like I have to convince you, or
yes,
that I need a receipt from you,
yes,
that you absorbed it, that you received it in its entirety. And why did I be like, are you kidding me? Like, you made me waste my energy, and you didn't even take what I told you, but you're taking it. You hear somebody else repeat it in a less more enthusiast vocabulary, and you got it. So what is that? Was I selling my information because I expected something in return? So that's what I had to sit with myself.
There's a no.
That's where that Captain Ho thing, because just like when you hold the door open for somebody, whether you're coming in and out of an establishment, and you see somebody walking in or out, it don't matter, and you choose to hold that door open, and they walk by, whether they're on their phone or they're chit-chatting with somebody, or they're just like, oh shit, I stood in the mall longer than I had to get back to work, and they're rushing. You don't know what's going on. All you know is your ass chose to hold that door open. Why are you getting mad when they don't say thank you? When you do something in kindness, in gratitude, because you see someone walking in or out, and you decided, you chose, okay, I'm walking in, somebody's coming out, let me just hold the door open. Nobody owes you anything.
Yes.
That is what being kind means. That is you living in your abundant life of gratitude, that there was a moment, maybe you had bags in your hand, or you were holding your kid or whatever it was, and you were grateful somebody held the door open. Now, not everybody does not say thank you, but why do we only focus on those? So I had to like play out this scenario for my granddaughter, and I said, do you get mad? I asked her, do you get angry when you hold the door open for somebody and they don't say thank you? She's like, oh my God, Wela, I hate that. At work, when I see the elderly coming in, and I run and I open the door for them, and they come in, the first thing they say is, can I sit anywhere? And I'm like thinking in my head, you're welcome, and hello to you too. And no, and then I say out loud, no, someone will seat you. And I said, but why? Did your manager tell you to be the door monitor? Did they signal you from outside because they had a walker for you to open that door for them? She's like, no, I just opened it because I saw them coming in. I said, then they don't owe you a damn thing. You chose to make that decision in your life, in that moment, to hold the door open out of service to others. Why do they owe you a thank you?
Yeah.
She was like quiet, and then she's like, oh my God, abuela. Oh my God, abuela. I got it. Oh my God. Now I feel
love your
bad for every time
granddaughter.
I was
I
upset.
love her.
I said, don't feel bad. Just pass it forward to your coworkers. Teach them that when you choose to do something, no one owes you praise nor curses.
Yes, you do it for you, just like Madeline was saying, because this is what you've been saying, is without expectation. It's when we put um, contingencies on things, expectations, when it's conditional, like if you do something, it's conditional. That's that, and there's your no. Your no is to say, you could choose to be that person. We're not saying we're saying that if you're going to say that you want to be, kind and with gratitude, that expectation, conditions, contingencies, those are all things that don't go hand in hand with that. But if that is your path and that is who you are, then you be you. That's the point. But if you're saying, I want to move past that. I want, what would it be like to just have no expectation? I'm going to love you no matter what. If you love me back, then that you don't love me back, then that's on you. But I'm not going to change who I am, and I'm not going to alter myself. And that's what I've known about myself. I find that I change myself, my emotions, my behaviors change with certain people and certain situations. And I looked at that and I said, God, I'm really tired of this. Like it's so much energy to shift like that. I don't want to shift like that.
You're not a shapeshifter. Keep your
I
ass
want to
right
be
where you need to be.
I want
set your boundaries.
Exactly. I want to be the person that just lets it go. Like it's okay. It's like I don't have to engage with people. I just have to be me. And period. And that's it. And if you don't like me, that's fine. I'm okay with that. If I don't really like you, I'm still even keel about it, But I want to be me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I still have to work on what will it take for me to be like that all the time. So those moments that come up when you have that expectation, you have that that contingency piece, you question yourself, you catch it, you question yourself, is why is this important? Why is it important for me to hear the thank you from the person? Why is it important for me to hear the I love you back? You know what I noticed all these years, as an adult? I'm 53 years old. I said this to my sister the other day. You ever notice when we're talking to mom on the phone, my mother never says I love you. Like, well, I don't want to say never, very, very rarely. You hang up the phone, she never says it. I say it first. Actually, all of us do. All the children say it first, and then she says it. And I thought to myself, I'm like, that's very interesting. And I knew that I was that person for a really long time. When I would hang up a phone, I never said I love you. And a few years, like maybe 2 years ago, I decided I want to tell people I love you.
Mm-hmm.
I love telling. If it felt really uncomfortable, and here's one thing that I will admit, I would say I love you a little easier to my two youngest children.
Oh.
But I would hang up the phone or talking to my oldest daughter, and I didn't always end with I love you. And then one day I said, why? Like part of it was the other ones were so much younger. That was part of it, because even as the middle one got older, I caught myself a few times not saying it, but I was already in that process of switching over. And then finally I just said, screw this. Every time I'm on the phone with my oldest, whenever we hang up, I love you. Whenever I say goodbye to her, I love you. And she started saying it to me. She says it to me first a lot of times too. It's like we see who gets there first. And I say it to my friends. I'll say it to people that I don't even know well, but if I love their energy and I said, listen, I'm going to just tell you something. I just love you. I love the person that you are. I love the person I'm speaking to. I said, you could read into it all you want. It's coming from a place of just love.
It comes from a place of just you being genuine. I mean,
Yes.
My realtor, I don't know how she was at first, but I always say I love you. Even when somebody texts me, I'll send them back, oh, I miss you bunches and bunches more. I love you forever. Like my 2-year-old, even all my grandkids, my kids, married with kids, whether they're texting me or calling me. And my older grandkids do the same thing. They'll text me and they start off with bendición, asking for a blessing. And I respond, God bless you. And they are, the 2-year-old, I'll say, Dios te bendiga. And instead of, she knows to say bendición, but she is so like me, so I can't even get mad. I love it. She's like, Dios diga. Like, she'll repeat what I'm saying. And so, yes, say I love you more often. Text somebody today that you haven't spoken to in a while. And because you know what? Everybody's so caught up on that bullshit where the phone works both ways. Nobody's called me. Get over it. Life is short. We're here temporary. This too shall pass. So, but going back to what the badass Buddha was saying, I would say don't be an asshole. You want to
sometimes that's necessary
because somebody doesn't want to say thank you, and you put all these boundaries. Well, I'm giving, so I got to receive type of thing. Don't be an asshole or an energy hijacker. Don't do that. If you're going to cast a stone, don't hide your hand. Confront who you are. Why are you casting that stone? Why are you judging somebody? Why are you cursing somebody because you chose to do something and they didn't acknowledge? Are you that much of an attention seeker? We're raised to accept who we are, or maybe you wasn't. But in that acceptance, we don't want to deal with our own bullshit, so we cast it upon others. Know that I know
that was my no
is a lifelong process. You're not going to get it. Maybe on your deathbed, you're going to say, oh my God, did I really love the color red, or was blue my favorite? You never know what's going to be your last question. But the intrigue of life is that you get a chance to discover yourself every morning. And that's what we're forgetting. We're waking up every morning reminded of what happened yesterday and who we're mad at or who pissed us off. Why? Don't be an energy hijacker to yourself and then blame other people why your day's not going right.
Yeah.
To know who the hell you are is a lifelong process, right?
Yes. Yep.
To accept who you are, you can do that every morning when you rise up and take that deep breath. Accept what you did yesterday. Okay, oh shit, I fucked up on that one. Let's not do that today. That's being aware of who you are. That's accepting who you are. And when you're so busy being the best you can possibly be, you don't have time for the bullshit. And then that's when you know that you matter, that you are important, that no one is better than you and no one is beneath you.
Yes.
That's the knowing that we need to embrace in our lives, that every morning that we rise, whether that alarm clock is annoying us, whether we're going to go to a job we ultimately hate, where we don't respect because there's no boundaries, because there's no ethics, you have the option every morning you wake up to make a change in your life. But before you can move forward, you must release the fear that you're not worthy, that you don't have enough skills, that you don't have the educational background. Sure, let me tell you something. My daughter writes her resumes up. My daughter walk into any job and she's like, I don't know this, but give me a day or two and I'll learn it and I'll be
hell yeah.
Her jobs are always $28 and up with a high school education. Why? Because she's like, your degree only puts you in debt. I'm debt free and I have space to learn. And that's what she's
space to learn.
So
that's great.
So you gotta ask yourself, do I really know, or I'm faking the funk? Am I that asshole that is so busy judging everybody that I forgot who I am?
Yeah.
I forgot what I'm capable of.
That's a harsh reality. That was my
So you must embrace the good, the bad, the ugly, because how are you walking today in your truth? How are you walking with kindness in your heart and gratitude in your step? If you didn't go through the mud, if you didn't roll down that muddy hill and got so dirty and then had no one around you, so you had to walk over to the lake, take it off, wash it, hang it up on the tree branches to dry, put it back on, and without a compass figured out which way to go in your life. No one can do that for you. Nope. And you know what? Time is going to pass you by because you were too busy looking outside your window instead of looking at yourself in the mirror. And then to know who who you are, and where you want to be is important for you. Because as I said earlier, the balance to life is death. And nothing lasts forever. For every beginning, there's an end for new beginning. And everything we do in this life and everything we feel is temporary. Just think about your past. Christmas, you were all frazzled, stressed out, hating everybody around you, going to the grocery store, wanting to bump your cart into people because it's crowded. You hate that time of year. You'd rather be home drinking hot cocoa, but you're out here buying fucking toys for people's kids. And guess what happens? And then the end of January comes. February, you start hearing the birds again. Let me back up. After Valentine's Day, I hate Valentine's Day. And then spring, the promise of spring is coming, and your whole demeanor changes, and you're looking at things differently. And look at the seasons in your life that you've already lived, and the challenges that you overcame, and the people you let go, or the people that cut your ass off because they couldn't get over on you no more. You know, and then place your value where it belongs. And start believing in yourself so that when you step out your door, you know who you are, what you want, and where you're going. And those who want to come with you, yay, let's party. And those who refuse, okay, have a nice day.
That's right.
I'm out.
Yeah. Can't force people.
That's your no.
And why would you want to? You know, not everybody is for everybody. Just like Gladiator Guru says, I'm not what is it? I'm not everybody's
cup of tea,
That's
but I drink coffee, so welcome.
That's right. You know, this whole month has been, I just got my cheat sheet from our program schedule. And the first week when we were talking about I am last week is about awareness, right? So we were reviewing awareness. And then this week, I know is the acknowledge part, acknowledging I know that I am this person. Okay. And then next week, we're going to do acceptance. I have become. This is who I have become. I'm accepting who I have become. That does not mean that you have to stay there. It's accepting I've become this person. Now, am I happy with the person that I have become? Is this a representation of me? Am I walking in my truth? Am I living my truth? And if there's still things that are not exactly right, then this is why we're doing this review, commit, and recommit. Review it. You know what? I had said I was going to do this, and it's October, and I'm not quite there. What got in the way? Blah blah blah. You know, I set my goal weight for the end of the year, and I got very close. Well, not very close, but I got closer to my goal weight back in August when I was still in Tennessee. And since I've been back for the month of September, I've gained some weight back, and I'm eating things I shouldn't be eating, and I'm feeling it. And I thought to myself, okay, you know, what do I know? I know that I wasn't making great choices. You know, what maybe is there a why behind that? What's the reasoning behind that? And then I said, okay, I have become, you know, the weight. This is my weight. And then I need to, what do I need to do? Let me review this. The beginning of the year that I would wanted to be this weight by the end of the year. What do I need to commit to? What do I need to recommit to? And say, okay, I'm going to be there in a few more days, and I'm going to commit to this, and we'll see if I hit my goal by the end of the year. But if not, I will eventually get there, because the goal is to just keep getting to that goal weight. Even if it takes me now another few months, I don't care, because that's the goal. So if I don't hit the end of the year, but it's acknowledging it. It's being aware of it, acknowledging it, accepting the point that you are now. Instead of beating myself up and say, well, if I hadn't eaten all that stuff and I hadn't been so inactive, I would have been, if I had stayed in Tennessee, I would have been thinner. Serves no point, serves no purpose. And here's what I know. I have a tendency to do that a lot lately. You're looking back at past stuff. All of it makes no difference. So the awareness, I've got to reviewing this going, well, that is something that obviously I still need to work on, because it serves no purpose. It is time to move forward. I cannot change the past. And now it's time to make choices that are better for me, move forward, and then keep being aware, because if I start to veer again, I want to catch it sooner. So that's what I know. I want to catch it sooner. And then, so next week we're going to be talking about, I have become. And then the accountability piece will end the last week with I own. What am I owning? I'm owning this piece, which we kind of been speaking on all these things anyway, but that's really going to instill it. So that one, the last week of October is going to be all about really being truthful to yourself, not lying to yourself, is saying, okay, I got to take accountability for this. It's not anybody else's fault. This is my fault.
Yeah. And people will fight you on it. You offended me. Get over it. You triggered me. No, I didn't. Your unhealed issues have been triggered by yourself because you have been ignoring it. I can't do anything to you that you do not allow me to. Yeah. I walk in my truth. I will say something out of pocket. I'll be like, okay. You know, if it's really crude and wrong, I will say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it to come out that way. And I'll genuinely apologize. Why? Because we're mountains and we're valleys, and we're mountains and we're valleys. And that's how we learn and succeed in life. It's not living a linear life. It's zigzagging all the way the fuck across to our grave, because that's how you learn. Because, you know, failure is success turned inside out. Why? Because in that failed moment that you believe is a failed moment is actually your best learning lesson.
Yeah. And that's what Janine wrote. Janine said that there's no mistakes and there's no bad choices. It's you make a choice of who you are at that moment in time. It's if you keep repeating, then you're not learning your lesson. And that's the I know. You know, that this is part of the I know. Did you want to make changes in your life in the beginning of the year? And you're looking at it now going, I'm still there. I'm still, I've made some, but I'm still, you know, connected to something. There's your I know. So I know this.
Yep.
Then the next phase is, okay, well, what am I going to do about this? What have I not learned about the mistakes and choices that I have made that put me into that place that I said I no longer wanted to be in? So what have I not learned so that I can move forward?
Yes. And be honest. And before we leave, the Bara said, you know, make sure you catch it sooner. I should have catched this sooner. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. We can all do that.
Coulda, woulda.
Life happens in between your healing.
Yeah.
Life happens in between your decision to let go or to hold on or to replenish anew. Life happens. You're going to meet people. You're going to leave people. You're going to lose people. You're going to gain people. You got to work. Life happens, right? So your truth is exactly your truth. And your truth is to say, oh my God, what did I do an hour ago? Why did I allow this to happen? Why did this person get to me? I don't even know him like that. Well, that's because there's something in you that you need to revisit.
Yeah.
Remember, look, life isn't a mistake.
No.
It's a purpose. Things happen on purpose. There's no coincidence. So if you're still going through this hamster thing, it's because you're really not learning who you are. You told the universe you will be accountable to your actions. You will accept the knowledge and you would be aware, but yet you're not. So guess what? Shit's going to keep happening until you're like, bam, I got to face this. That should be your, I know, like, okay, I know I've been a little slack on me because I've been giving too much outside of me. Why? That's another question. I mean, I know we're leaving, but why? Why is it so important for you to be liked and accepted and rewarded? Let's bring it back home. So, I mean, we're going to end the month beautifully because as we've always said in the past, every time we come up with these subjects, it's not because we're the all-knowing, it's because we got to remind ourselves what we need to work on. Your comments,
not for you, it's for us.
And I'm sorry that I can't see all the comments because I'm on the phone, but I know when I checked real quick, Madeline, Desiree, Iris, I think wrote something. We are always, Janine, I'm so happy you're here. The comments, you don't know how many other people watching you are assisting.
Yeah.
So just keep it going. That's the I know that you should own, is that I matter. My words are important. I'm learning, and in that learning, I'm teaching, because people are watching you. Your children, your grandchildren, they watch you. So that's how you teach while you're learning, is knowing who the fuck you are.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody, for coming on, and have a great weekend. So keep working on yourself. Bring it to the table. Get ready for I Have Become for next week, and own it. See what you can do this weekend to just step into your fabulous self. Anyway, thanks to everybody for the comments. Yeah, they were all fantastic. Everybody, thank you so much for everybody that commented. Madeline, so cute. We love you too. All right. From the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, mi gente, remember to breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.